that's recorded. Okay, it's recording.
Okay. So, why are you at your father's?
Well, I told you I'm here like kind of against my will because if it was for me, I would prefer to be at my house, my home right now, which is like 500 kilometers from here. And I told you my father woke up yesterday not feeling well, and we are suspecting that he's gotten the COVID. So I decided to stay here to help him with this.
So, what you're saying is not that it's against your will that you're there, but that you'd prefer to be at your house, and you're concerned about your father's health, his well-being, and so if you're there, you can be a support to him, driving him to the hospital or the doctor, whatever, and there's someone in the house with him.
Yes.
So your preference would be to be at your house to do your work and all that. But because he's sick, you're making a choice to stay there. Yeah? Am I getting what you're saying?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So does that sound different to you? That the difference between I'm here against my will and it's serving your needs to contribute to your family and your sense of ease and maybe like self-respect, that you're acting in accordance with your values. You value family, you're concerned about your dad's well-being and his health, so you're making a choice to.
I, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at myself right now.
Why? Why are you laughing at yourself?
Because when I said like against my will, well, it's not against my will. I decided to stay here because I care about my father's health, and my relatives' health as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Say more about that. Your relatives' health. Why is that?
yeah, because I am the only one in the family who has already gotten the COVID. So I am kind of immune right now, and my aunt, my grandmother, they are not. So I can be here inside the house with my father, taking care of him. So
Uh-huh. So it's not putting your mother and your grandmother at risk,
risk, yeah.
because they could be at risk if he has COVID and they're in contact with him. So it's a way you can serve them as well,
Yes.
their well-being, their health. Yeah. So
So
doesn't
yeah.
that feel more comfortable in yourself to know, oh, I am serving life, I'm living in integrity with my values? There's a big shift in me hearing that than hearing, I'm here against my will. Like, boo-hoo, I'm the victim. I can't go. I'm trapped. You know.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's the way we talk. We're trained to talk that way. It's not my fault. I have to stay here. And so those are clue words. Have to. Well, against my will is a pretty strong clue word phrase. Against my
Yes.
will. Huh. Does anyone ever do anything against their will? Another word for will I use is inner vision, my IV, and the IV is like I have a what do you call it? I have a I'm gonna move the camera. Maybe you can see it here. It's on my wall there.
Oh, VIIV.
Inner vision. Inner vision. So one is the IV The top one is the VI, which I call the victim island. Are you
Just
on victim island? That's the VI.
big.
I can't. I have to. I'm supposed to. It's my against my will. That's the victim island, right? The VI. And the other one is the IV, the inner vision, the inner voice, the inner speaker, the inner guider life. You know, what is it guiding you to do? Which we label needs, the needs in us, right?
Hmm, nice. So when you said, so you choose to stay there because you choose to attend those needs for caring, and I don't know, you said other needs, and that helped me to make like a shift in my mind. Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, so that was incredible. And it also made me remember a story you once told me about a work that you were doing in prison about I don't remember very well, but it was related to a guy that didn't want to like make a mess there, and then he said, well, we have no choice, we have to obey the rules and blah blah blah. And then you said, yo, no, no, you have choices. Could you talk more about this again,
That
please?
was a whole, it was my first time that I went into the prison. It was in San Quentin
First.
prison. I was in a room with, I don't know, 20 or 30, a lot of men. It seemed like a lot of men to me. They were all incarcerated there. And I had this bulletin board, a blackboard behind me, chalkboard. And they were saying, I said something about NVC. It's where you can have choice. And they said, you don't get it. We're in prison. We have no choice here. We've been put here against our will, right? We have no choice. I'm like, you have no choice. Well, tell me something you have no choice about. And they said, well, we have no choice about whether we're here or not. And I said, oh, well, so you're not free to get up and leave the room? They're like, no, no, we have to show our little badge or card, and we're counted. And I said, well, does anyone ever not do that? Oh, yeah. What happens to them? Well, they get in trouble. They get thrown in the hole, or they get whatever, demerits, or I don't know. They can't be in the program. I said, oh, so they have choice. They just don't like, there's options, but they don't like the consequences of the options. Well, yeah. So I said, let's make a list of all the things you have no choice about. And they a lot of things they wrote that, because they're living in my world. I was looking at it as, here we're exploring what it's like living on victim island. I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm supposed to do this, I have to do that. And we made this whole list up, and then we went through the list, and they let me know what options they had if they didn't do the thing. And it became very clear. And at some point, someone says, I'm conflating two stories together because it sounds better. So there's this other story where this happened this other time. This person said, well, I know something you have to do. And I said, what is that? And he said, you have to breathe. And I said, no, you don't. You don't have to breathe. He said, what? Yeah, you have to breathe. No, you don't. Why would you have to breathe? I said, well, if you want to live, otherwise you die. I said, okay. You breathe if you want to live. Some people do make the choice to stop breathing. We call it suicide. They make the choice to stop breathing because that's their, if you would ask me, oh, now this is another story of another guy who said, I was in a mental facility where they're incarcerated because they've been deemed by the court. They've done violent crimes, been found guilty, and found unable to understand the charges against them because of their mental state, and so they're put in this place. And the guy said to me, they had told me that this guy had tried to commit suicide 7 times. And I said something, and he said, you have no idea. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I said, oh, well, and he said something to, I've tried to kill myself. And I said, I don't believe myself. I don't believe that you've tried to kill yourself because you want to die. He said, yes, I do. And I said, well, how about I tell you what I think and you tell me if I got it right? He said, okay, why do you think? I've tried to kill myself 7 times. And I said, I imagine that you would like to have relief from your pain. And his mouth dropped open and he said, well, yeah. And I said, and I imagine that the only way you think you can have relief from your pain is by killing yourself, being dead. He said, yeah. So, would you be willing to talk with me about some other options for relief from your pain? I said, I don't think there are any other. And I said, yeah. And I think there are, so shall we talk about it?
Wow.
And he's willing to listen. Well, what have you got to say? You know?
Wow.
In that same class with that same guy, another time, I had a thing of water, and I knocked it over, and it spilled all over me, my papers, my book, and the floor. And I looked at it and went, oh, well, I wish I hadn't done that. So, and he said, wait, is that it? And I said, is what it? And he said, you're clumsy. You spilled all over your book and your papers. You made a mess. What are you thinking? And I said, oh, I'm thinking, I'm human. I made a mistake. Wish I hadn't spilled the water. Okay, let's move on. Didn't used to be that way. I would have said before I found NBC, oh, there I go again. Why am I always making messes? What's wrong with me? Why am I always spilling? Why aren't I conscious? Why aren't I paying attention? Now these people are going to think I'm messy and confused. I don't know what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. All that mind chatter. I changed that. I was able to translate it with NBC.
Wow. What a translation.
And he was like, I want to do that. I said, of course you do. Why can't you? Why not? Go ahead.
Wow.
We can learn to do that. Because our natural way of being is loving self. We're life energy. Life loves life. We are life, so we can love ourselves. The thinking, that loopy thinking, is what we've been trained and taught and told. To hate ourselves, to castigate ourselves, to judge ourselves and other people. What a life of pain. What a life of pain.
Yeah.
That's why there's 2 questions that Marshall asks, what do you want other people to do, and what do you want to be their reason for doing it? Then I have my other little visual. It's a little because I carry it around in my wallet all the time with me. I think I've showed you this before.
Oh, yeah.
A little giraffe card. And it says on this card, please grant my request only if you can do it with a feeling of joy and only if it will make your life more wonderful, your world more wonderful. Please do not grant my request if you have any sense of duty or obligation. Please do not grant my request if you would be doing so out of a fear of punishment or hope of reward. Marshall carried this card around in his wallet.
Can I ask you a thing?
Yeah.
Could you take a picture of this card and send it to me through WhatsApp, and then I can put this on the description of the video? Yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
Do you also want the IV and the VI?
Yes, I do.
Those 2? Yeah. All right. So we've actually covered in this short little clip of, I don't know how many minutes it was, but we covered the have-tos and the choice and the translating loopy thinking and rewards not punishment, or rewards and punishment instead of the other, you know.
Great.
Because it's all weaves together. It's all, and it's our natural way of being. It's not how we're trained and taught and told. That's the loopy thinking. It's just our natural way of being. So Marcia would say, I'm here to teach you what you already know.
I love when he says that. When I saw his like videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's all because I said I'm here against my will. Then you said you are here, you are there against your will.
How could that be? That's another time he said something like that, and I said, Gustavo, why would you lie to me? You're like,
Yeah.
what?
Remember what it was? No,
No.
I remember it.
You
It
do?
like
What was it?
yes, like
What did you
it
say?
was like a mark like in my life.
Wow.
I
What did
said
you say?
I said, Mair, I don't have much time today. Then you said, you are lying to me. You have as much time as I do.
Why would you lie to me? Like, what?
So
You have
we could
24 hours? I
we
have
could
24 hours.
we could do another clip about that. What do you think? Yeah.
Well, we could quit forever, but I would also like to spend my time getting the book together
Yes.
and doing other things. So we're going to meet in just 2.5 hours. We're
Yes.
scheduled to. So
Okay.
why not have a break so we can work?
Okay.
Maybe throw some play in there as well.
Can we finish end this recording? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. We can. Well, you can.
Yeah, we you I love it. We you.
Not we, me.
Bye.
Bye.